A listener, Eddie in Wicklow, said mobile phones have a code independent of the chip that is picked up by the network, and this can be blocked, so making any phone not worth robbing. But it's just not in the telco's interest to do this, says Eddie in Wicklow. Another texter here: every single phone has a unique IMEI number. If your phone is stolen, get onto your provider. They can completely block the phone so nobody can use it. Is that true? I mean, is it possible for the companies that supply the service to shut down the phones, essentially, if they're stolen?
I'm not a technological expert now, but as I understand it, the IMEI number is the key here. Now, on an iPhone, what an IMEI is, it's basically a code which is written on the phone, within the phone. So basically, you can't access it, very easily. Although, if your phone is stolen and you get onto Apple or your service provider, they should be able to tell you what your IMEI is.
Because they've got it stored in their record books, is that right?
Yes, I think the telephone manufacturers have. Now, I think there's a slight problem in that depending on where you buy your phone and how well your phone, how well the purchase of that phone is recorded, it is possible that you will not know what your IMEI is once your phone is stolen from you. Now, if you have a phone, there's one very easy way of finding out your IMEI. You press in a combination of hash and tag keys, and once you press in the combination, this IMEI should actually pop up on your screen on your phone. Now, I just don't happen to know what the combination of hash and other keys is. But if you went onto Apple's website,
we can check that out. But,
so basically what it is you basically tap in, I think it's a 3 or 4 digit code into your phone, just using your phone keypad, and your IMEI actually pops up. And if you keep a record of that,
then you can get back on immediately, and you can immobilize it.
Stolen, you can actually block your phone.
Now, we got a lot of messages as well, people saying these criminals are quite clever and they basically can clean out all the records off the phones very quickly. What do you know about that?
They can clean out the records of the phones very quickly, and this appears to be the attraction, really, of the phones. The Garda sources that I've been speaking to tell me that there are quite a few shops around the place which kind of specialise in, cleaning up second-hand phones and unlocking, phones.
And these look like respectable shops, do they? And
they don't really. I mean, I think you kind of know the kind of shop that you were walking into when you kind of walked into it. It's kind of, they pretty much specialise in selling, new cheap telephone stuff, telephone headphones and that kind of stuff. Or else they specialise in selling, second-hand actual telephones. Now, what appears to be happening is that when the criminals actually rob these iPhones, they're bringing them into these shops. They're generally going in fairly small shops. Some of them are kind of email cafes as well. They're generally in the kind of shadier parts of town where I suppose rents are cheaper.
Sure, but they're flogging them for 100 or 200.
They are flogging them, and what they're doing basically is they're really taking an endless supply of these stolen iPhones from the guys that actually steal the phones. When the phones are handed over by the thieves, they're being wiped of all data by the people who own the shops, and they're basically being sold on. So the thief could, walk into the shop, sell a phone for like, 100 quid, and then the shop could, sell it on for twice that.
Yeah. Now, Connor, listener says my phone was stolen and I got it back using a GPS system that was built into it with the help of the Gardaí. Do the Gardaí have the technological resources to use whatever to track these things down? Apparently, there's a lot of apps, as they call them, in these phones that you can actually locate them.
Yeah, I think the apps can be wiped from the phone. The locator apps can be wiped from those phones. By somebody who really has the
somebody who's smart enough.
Know-how, yeah. And obviously the guys who actually run these kind of backstreet shops are able to do that.
They're smart enough. The actual thief, the thief mightn't know how to swipe it, but the shop exactly. would. Yeah.
I do know from other stories, people who've gone missing, for example, their remains have been found because the network provider is able to ping the signal from their phone. It was a very sad case many years ago of, well, about 4 or 5 years ago, of a teenager, Robert Holland, down in Cork. And his remains were found because the network provider was basically ping the signal from the phone, even though the phone was actually turned off.
No,
And they were able to find where the phone was, according to the closest telephone mast.
Absolutely, that's very interesting, because we had just another text here from a listener who says that thieves can switch the phone off, but you say you can still be traced. It's astonishing, but I'm afraid we're nearly out of time. Conor Lally, crime correspondent of the Irish Times, thank you for explaining all that to us, and best of luck to you. There are loads of other messages that come in about this. My girlfriend got her phone robbed on the bridge just up from the Hackney Bridge by a scumbag on a bike. She confronted them, but they just laughed at her. My wife's iPhone was stolen, fully insured. The insurance company wouldn't cover it and said she was negligent in having it out with her on a night out. Now we're stuck with a contract too and paying for the service that we don't get. The insurance company is a disgrace, says Owen. And a listener says, my son's iPhone 4 was snatched from him outside a teenage disco, and he was threatened that if he didn't hand it over, he didn't want me to report it